We will now turn on the survey data in preparation for the editing. To do this, we go to our plus button and hold the left button down, drag down all of the models and click select. Before we do anything else, we're going to toggle on our Z values and toggle on our string names. As you can see here, the text is quite cluttered, so the next step is to set up the scales for zooming in and out. Firstly, we're going to click in this area here and zoom in so that the text appears not quite so cluttered. So we zoom in about this scale here. We click on the menu button, walk right on settings, and click left button on view settings panel. We're going to click on Z values to bring up the Z value for plan view panel. Here we can preset the maximum scale that the text will be allowed to appear before it disappears. So we click size max, set. If we then click anywhere on the screen, left button, and zoom out slightly, you'll see the text disappears. Okay, we click finish on that panel. We do the same for names. We click on names. Again, we click size max, set. Click on the screen and zoom out slightly to check it's working, and then click finish. Lastly, we'll do the point ID, so we'll zoom out a bit further. We will then click on point vertex IDs, and again click size max set. Click on the screen and zoom out to check, and then we can finish on that panel and finish on the view settings panel. Now when we zoom all, you can see the data quite clearly. As you zoom in closer, then you'll be able to see the point IDs appear, and then the Z values and string names. To be able to edit the data using the field file editor, we're going to firstly just set the screen up. We select Window Tile Vertical in order to be able to grab the left side of Plan View 1. If we hold the left button down and just resize it about halfway across. We then need to open the field file editor by using the icon Edit Field File. Select the function Detail Survey and click Edit. The field file editor can then be moved over to the left hand side, and we can just change the size of Plan View 1 to butt up against the edge of it. The field file editor is basically linked to the graphics. If we were to maximize Plan View 1 and click on any of the reading lines, you'll see a vector between the station and the relevant survey point. To locate a point, we either highlight the point and see where it is in the graphics, or we can click on the pick icon and press the space bar and type in a point number, for example 1404, enter. It will then highlight the point in the graphics, and then if we middle button and accept, you'll see it then in the left hand side. Alternatively, we can use the find by pick any point in the graphics, pick and accept, and again it'll locate the field file entry over on the left. Just as a note, it's very important when you have picked on a point and it has highlighted the point, always make sure you confirm by clicking the middle button. If you don't, the string remains locked, and re-reducing the field file can cause problems where the string is locked and the reduction doesn't work correctly. So always make sure you confirm anything you pick, whether you're inquiring on a string or whether you're locating a string. A very major thing to remember when you're doing the field file editing is that the field file editing basically re-reduces the data. So it's very important you don't do any manual editing at the time of the field file editing. If we were to click F2 and then click once on one of the strings here, at the top of the information panel you'll see function name equals detail survey. So that string is linked to the detail survey process. If you were to manually edit one of the strings, it loses the link to the function. Therefore, if you were to re-reduce the function, it would actually duplicate part of the string. The first piece of editing we want to do is find and replace that TBK code. We'll just scroll back up to the start of the readings and click on the top line. much the same way as you would in any word processor as you're about to do a find and replace. We click on the find replace icon. We type in the old code, which was TBK. We can then type in the new code, TBL, or it would have picked it from the list. We then click find. It will then go down to the relevant point. It will also pan across to the point in the actual graphics. We then click replace, and we keep clicking replace. And as you do that, the survey is re-reduced, and the correct line type is now applied because we have the correct code. Click replace again, and then it returns to the top of the file. To exit out of the option, we click finish. As part of the processing or editing, it actually gives you a color audit trail of anything that you've edited. If you were to click the find by pick icon, pick back on one of those strings and accept, you'll see that the relevant lines over in the field file editor are all highlighted magenta now. This means that the data has been changed. We're now going to look at another type of or common error, and in this case we have an incorrect code. If we just zoom out and zoom into the group of trees near this gully, we're going to look at point number 1526. We can either edit this point over in the field file editor. We can click on the find by pick icon, pick and accept on 1526, and you'll see it over on the left. So we could have double clicked on that point. Or we can, if we wanted to just change the code, we can also use an icon up the top here, and it's called Quick Code Edit. So if we click on that icon, so these panels here are field file edits. Okay, so we can match an existing point if we wanted to. So if we clicked same as, we could pick on a surface level point. It then loads up the code. We can then click pick, and we can pick on this point here and accept. Now, as we did that, it then re-reduced. Now, because we actually picked a point on a string there, the string now bypassed that point and continued on through the other strings. To undo that, if we simply clicked on the find by pick icon and picked on 1209, if you move the cursor off that point, you'll see it's highlighted magenta. Okay, if you double click on that line, to undo, we just simply click reset, finish, and that will do an undo. Another change here, we can match that point to that tree. So again, we've already got SL picked, we can click pick, pick on that tree and accept. Again, it's re-reduced and matching the code SL, it's now putting it into a new model, topo surface level. So if we just pick that point, 1526, again we can just double click on the point. If we want to undo the edit, we go reset, finish. Right, we can click finish on that panel now. Incorrect target heights are often edited using the field file editor. To locate a point that has an incorrect target ID here, we will have a look at point 1044. If we click on find by pick and we type in 1044, enter, it highlights the point, and press enter again, it will show us that point over on the left hand side. We will just zoom into that point down at the bottom of the road. It is the second reading on our road crown. Before the first reading, we put in a target height of 2.1, and then we should have actually put a new target height of 1.6 after the first reading, but we forgot. So all these readings here all have the wrong target height. So to fix this up, we click on the insert target height icon, we click pick on 1044 and accept, and we type in the new target height of 1.6. We then click set, and the data is re-reduced, and you'll see now that a new target height has been inserted there. If you click on the next line down, you'll see the target height is in blue, and blue is an audit trail colour to say that something's been added into the field file. We can then click Finish to exit the option. We'll now look at some other field file edits. If we zoom in near where we went originally to set up the scaling for our text, you'll see that this top of bank is actually pointing the wrong way, so it needs to be reversed. To reverse a string, we can use the option Survey, Edit, Stringing, Reverse. We simply pick and accept on the string. If I select the Zoom Previous icon to get back to where we were, you'll see now that it's reversed the string and the marks are now pointing down towards the bottom of bank or the drain. The pan button was the feature that actually automatically linked us back to the previous point that we'd edited, so sometimes it's a good idea to untick the pan button. If we were to pick on one of those points in that string and accept, you'll see that there's a new command there called reverse string. So that reverse string basically just applies to the string that it's sitting in. Reordering a string can be used where a zigzag in a string has been done accidentally. Here we're zooming into point 2358, and here we've accidentally surveyed from 2356 to 2357 and forgotten to pick a point halfway along so that string was too long. So we simply just go back to the one that should have been halfway, take a reading and continue on. So although it's a zigzag, it's quite easy to fix here. So what we're going to do is use an option up here that says Order by Points, and we click Pick, and we simply pick the points in the order that they should have appeared. So we start off with the correct point, and then we go to the next point that should have been the next one in the order, which is that one there. Pick, accept, and then it re-reduces. So you can do that anywhere in a string as many times as you like.